despite global market volatility. Energy Ministry reviews fuel oil stocks amid escalating Gulf crisis. Former police commissioner challenges summons in Steve Juliet judicial inquiry. In world news, Donald Trump refuses to rule out ground troops in escalating conflict with Iran. And in sports news, title race and survival battle intensify as English Premier League matchday 29 gets underway. 10,500, that's the number of seats offered each week by Emirates to Sir Sivu Sagar Ramgulam International Airport, a figure that illustrates the current impact. Since Saturday, at least 13 flights have been cancelled due to the conflict in the Middle East. The result, passengers stranded abroad, others stuck in Mauritius, missed connections and disrupted holidays. A very real zone of turbulence for travellers, but in this tense context, some local players are benefiting. Travel agencies and hotels are reporting a rise in last-minute bookings. It should be noted that Emirates specifies that passengers whose travel is scheduled up to 5 March may modify their booking free of charge. They have until 20 March to reschedule their flight to a destination within the same region, regardless of the class originally chosen. On the regional front, disruptions continue this Tuesday, 3 March. Saudi Arabia has confirmed the cancellation of its flights to several destinations, including Amman, Kuwait, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Bahrain, Moscow and Peshawar, at least until 4 March. Affected passengers are advised to check the status of their flight before heading to the airport. Emirates, for its part, has begun a partial and gradual resumption of operations. Some flights are being prioritized for passengers who have already been rebooked, and the airline insists do not present yourself at the airport without prior confirmation. The same caution applies at Dubai airports, where traffic is slowly resuming with a limited number of authorized flights. Closure of the Straits of Hormuz, military tensions in the Gulf and growing concern as the world fears a surge in oil prices. Mauritian motorists are also worried about another shock at the pump. Between temporary or artificial shortages at certain stations, increased demand and emergency meetings. We take a listen to this report.
The closure of the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical energy arteries, is the current focal point of global anxiety, a situation which is also sparking concerns in Mauritius. Drivers fear a surge in fuel prices. This man said that they expect the price of petrol to go up due to the current conflict in the world. He added that it's sad and they hope that it is resolved promptly. He believes that the price of petrol will be affected, but we don't know to what extent. At some petrol stations, the crowds have been unusually large. Demand for fuel has skyrocketed, according to gas station attendants. He said that since morning, many are filling up their tanks, some are even storing in their gallons. She stated that some people think that the price of petrol will increase or that there will be a shortage. On social media, motorists claim that some petrol stations, particularly in Quatre-Bornes and Saint-Paul, are temporarily refusing to sell petrol, citing depleted stocks. A MBC team visited a gas station in Saint-Paul. Their observation, not a drop of petrol available when they arrived. The manager, who declined to appear on camera, mentioned a stock shortage. He assured that restocking was expected within the next few hours. The Petroleum Pricing Committee met this afternoon. The verdict: fuel prices remain unchanged. 58 rupees 45 per litre of petrol and 58 rupees 95 for diesel. The question remains, however, how long can Mauritius maintain these prices if tensions persist and the price of oil continues to rise? The Minister of Commerce, Michael Sikien, stated that those who are panic buying are wasting time as there is a full stock of petrol, almost 12,000 metric tons, which will last till the 4th of April. For diesel, there is a stock of 13,600 metric tons, which will last till 6th April. A new cargo is expected on the 18th of March, he added. He pointed out that the products come from Oman and does not take the Hormuz route. With regards to the duration of the conflict, the minister said, we should not be negative in life.
On the energy front, petrol and diesel prices remain unchanged for now. However, the Minister of Commerce, Michael Sikien, does not rule out a possible increase if the global trend continues. He specified that the Petroleum Pricing Committee meeting was held according to the usual schedule and not as an emergency session. The minister also called for calm in response to the bulk purchasing observed in recent days, warning that panic buying could create an artificial shortage. Another key point, the deficit of the price stabilization account has decreased from 3.4 to 1.5 billion rupees, a notable improvement despite market volatility. The crisis in the Middle East is taking on a major strategic dimension following the Israeli-American attack on Iran. Attention is turning to the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for global oil and gas trade. Now surrounded by significant uncertainty, international markets have already reacted with a sharp rise in energy prices from Monday morning. Listen to more on this.
From the moment the Israeli-American operation against Iran was launched on Saturday, the Revolutionary Guard Corps claimed to have closed the Strait of Hormuz.
From now on, all navigating through the Strait of Hormuz is forbidden.
Nearly a quarter of the world's oil and about a fifth of its liquefied natural gas passed through the strategic waterway. On Sunday, 2 vessels were attacked in the area, including an oil tanker, forcing it to sink, according to Iranian state television. This escalation immediately shook energy markets. On Monday, Brent crude, the global benchmark, surpassed $80 a barrel, registering a surge of about 13% in just a few hours. Last January, it was trading at around $65. According to several analysts, in the event of a prolonged disruption of deliveries through Hormuz, prices could quickly reach $100 a barrel, particularly if oil facilities were to be targeted in the region.
It has already caused a shock in the oil markets. The OPEC countries were supposed to meet tomorrow to discuss the prices per barrel, and I assume that we will see an increase of at least $10 to $20 per barrel of crude.
Faced with the tensions, the International Maritime Organization has called on shipping companies to avoid the area. Insurance costs have risen sharply, and several major companies have already suspended their voyages. More than 80% of the oil transiting through Hormuz is destined for Asian markets, which is heightening concerns about a lasting disruption to global supply. The situation continues to be closely monitored by markets and authorities worldwide.
And in the same spirit of vigilance, the Ministry of Energy has convened the CEB to assess heavy fuel oil stocks used for electricity production. According to Minister Patrick Asjavaden, reserves currently exceed the usual 1-month level. A vessel is expected on 19 March from the United Arab Emirates, and discussions are already underway with India to secure alternative supplies should the situation worsen. But no shortage has been reported so far, but the matter could be brought before the cabinet if the international context deteriorates. And finally, in other news, former Commissioner of Police Anil Kumar Dip is contesting his summons in the judicial inquiry into the death of Steve Jacqueline Juliette. The case was called yesterday before the Supreme Court, presided over by Chief Justice Rehana Mungli Gulbul. An affidavit from the Director of Public Prosecutions was filed by the Chief State Attorney, maintaining objections to the defence's requests. The former head of the Central Barracks is challenging the relevance of certain elements, while the Pamplemousse Court had previously ruled the so-called Mustas leaks audio recording inadmissible. The case has been adjourned to 16 March. It's 9 minutes after 9. You're listening to RM1. When we move to international news, President Donald Trump on Monday said he is not ruling out sending U.S. troops into Iran while threatening a new big wave of attacks. The Republican has long campaigned against decades of U.S. military entanglements in the Middle East, but ordered a large-scale war against Iran starting Saturday. So far, the assault has focused entirely on aerial attacks using missiles and bombs, but Trump refused to rule out deploying ground troops, a far riskier move in terms of potential casualties. And finally, in sports, match day 29 kicks off this Tuesday evening, and every point now carries enormous weight, with 9 rounds remaining. Both the title race and the battle for European spots promise an intense struggle. Between the long-distance duel between Arsenal and Manchester City, European ambitions and the fight for survival, this 29th match day is shaping up to be decisive with several high-stakes fixtures. That's all from me this morning. Thanks so much for listening. Stay tuned to The Intermeet with Lizzie.